Hey folks, welcome back to the channel, and if this is your first time, I sure appreciate you stopping in. Hey guys, this morning we're going to talk about the rut reports that you hear going on and why I'm just not a fan of them and what that means as a whole, and we're going to dissect this one together. We'd like to take a minute to thank our great partners, Promised Land Tree Service, Scent Thief, Painted Arrow Outdoors, Wicked Feeder Solutions, Bluebird Drones, DLS Outdoors, Jackhammer Mineral, Full Spectrum Products, Harper Growing Solutions, and Cabela's. All right, so let's talk here. Let's start here over to Coffee Talk this morning. Guys, I'm not a fan of the rut reports, right? And why is that? So let's get right to this one. The reason for that is, guys, it's so, a rut report, right, is not, it gets a lot of people in trouble. Let's just say that, right? I understand why people do them to try to help with the strategy, but I'd prefer more strategy talk then instead of rut report. And the reason I say that, guys, is folks, if you were doing this only for a, let's say you live in Illinois and you were only going to do this for, your county or your zip code, well, there's probably some truth to that. And if you came right out and said, hey, I'm only doing this for this area and this is why, and these are the conditions, but, so there might be some, power to that, the backing to that, right? On the other side of it is, guys, you could be 20 miles from there and it not be the same. So you really have to watch what a rut report is telling you, right? So I understand the theory. I understand why people do them, but like I said, I think it gets people a little, to be honest with you, I think it gets a lot of people in trouble because it makes people lazy, right? And the reason I say lazy, I'm not calling anybody directly lazy. I'm just saying it gets people lazy, and we're all guilty of that, right? And the reason for that is we rely on these darn trail cameras too much. And what we're doing is, it's the rut lockdown, right? That's the big talk. It's the rut lockdown, and nothing's moving and just not gonna go. Well, first time that you go to sit in that stand because the wind's right and you have the time, and all of a sudden you see about 3 or 4 bucks that aren't on camera, or they're standing in front of the camera and you're not getting the pictures, right? There's so much to be said for that. So this is what I think everyone needs to take from that, right? You need to, when you watch a rut report, make sure you're kind of, taking that with a grain of salt, right? Where is it coming from? What are they talking about? Hopefully it's not a blanket speech. But here, guys, is what we need to talk about. This is the more important point of this video. I have a good acquaintance, if you will, sent me a video the other day of this gentleman that it is, puts a lot of YouTube stuff out there, more on the hunting side than the consulting side, but he does do consulting. I think it was a 4-day window, and of course I get sent all this stuff, and they, everybody wants to know why, is there any truth to this or anything like that, right? So this gentleman starts in Michigan. He goes from Michigan to Ohio. He goes from Ohio to Indiana. He goes from Indiana to Illinois, and Illinois to Kansas, I believe, right? And in this video, it's placing the blame on the rut. Well, there's just no rut. Nothing is rutting in Michigan. Nothing's rutting in Indiana. Nothing is rutting in Ohio. Nothing's rutting in Kansas. Well, it's not September. It wasn't July. It's the first week of November. So guess what? Who's to blame? Is it the area? Is it your hunting strategy? About 60 to 70% of these videos that I did watch that where he was hunting, on top of food plots to begin with, on top of food plots in the morning, internal right smack dab in the center of farms, and I don't even know the property lines, and I can tell you they're internal. So it just makes you wonder, right? Before you say that the rut is actually junk or horrible and nothing is moving, and you transfer yourself, you stay in the same region, and you transfer yourself from not only different regions but 4 different farms, so obviously different deer herds, and there's nothing going on. You gotta start wondering if you need to start placing blame at yourself, right? That old theory that you've heard me talk about is if you point your finger at something, right, you've got four fingers pointing back at you, depending on farming accidents, right? There's a lot to be said for that, right? Because guys, here's the God's honest truth. When I hear somebody let's just use this for an example. When I hear somebody in the first week of November, in Michigan, say, for example, the rut is just weak this year. If I see a picture of someone's stand location, it takes me about 0.2 seconds to understand why. Guys, there's so many people out there that don't hunt correct habitat, right? And this all goes back to not understanding the phases, not understanding what phase of this rut or the time of the year that you're hunting. So, I'm not calling anybody a bad hunter. I'm just saying that there's a lot of people out there I don't think really understand that. And if you get in these stands, guys, and maybe it's a leased property, right? And I understand all these situations, but maybe it's a leased property. Maybe you are hunting a topography feature, a contour feature, a pinch, a saddle, something like that. But you're sitting in the woods the first week of November that you can see 200 or 300 yards through an open, timbered area, closed canopy forest. That contour is only going to get you so far, right? So maybe 100 yards from there, 200 yards from there. You guys, I've given up the best pinches, funnels, saddles in the entire country to get to somewhere where the habitat was good, dating back to like the days I was guiding. Guys, I have, in west central Illinois, I have found some of the most spookiest saddles, pinches that you've ever seen in your entire life. But I didn't hang a tree stand there because I knew when I was going to hunt this, right, there was no steering power, no scent check ability, because if you hang a stand in that area, right, you would be shocked if you just went to that spot and just glassed. You would be shocked on how many deer were actually probably 200 or 300 yards from you on the downwind side of the correct habitat that you never seen, right? So I just encourage you to wrap all of this when you hear of a rut report and you hear of how many fingers are being pointed at what the rut is. And I was actually not tagged in a video, but sent a video and asked, some points. And one of my clients actually sent this to me and said, man, this guy is being so rude to people. And the topic was, and you probably all know where this is at, it doesn't take long to study it. I think the topic was something like why your rut hunt sucks. So, well, it's the truth. It's like you need to be able to understand that there are a lot of features when you hunt that need to be fixed before you place blame on the deer herd that does the same thing every year per your area. You know what I mean? So like setting your watch on a 28-day clock, right? Your calendar on a 28-day clock, right? Guys, I'm telling you, my farm is a perfect example here. I could tell you right now, the 3 days over September, October, November, and December. So let's say 4 days of the hunting season here in Kentucky that I need to be in a tree stand. Maybe not the specific stand, but I need to be in a stand because of the wind. I'll tell you which stand I'm going to be in that week because of the couple days each side of that date, because of the wind and the thermals, AM versus PM, whatever that case may be. But the reason for that is, guys, is it's 28 days apart. So we're going to close on this one. I've done videos on it before. I don't need to, beat a dead horse on this. But guys, the only reason that you don't see does in heat, in bucks chasing does outside of the hunting, outside of probably 3 or 4 times a year, 3 times a year in most cases, a lot of time people only see 2 of it, is because that 28-day window only falls within of the heat cycle, right? Only falls within the hunting season, maybe twice. So, do they get bred in June? Do they get bred in May? No, and the reason is their heat cycle isn't as strong. The photocell plays into it. That heat's not as strong. It's not a standing heat, right? And the buck's testosterone isn't through the roof. So that's why you see the most of it. But don't for 1 second think that a doe does not come into heat every 28 days until, like in November, when she's, depending on when your rut is, November, December, could be January around the country, until she's bred. Then she goes on a 214-day gestation period, has the fawn about, 6 weeks. After that, she weans the fawn, goes right back in, or starts the heat again, weans the fawn, starts all over. Next thing you know, guess what? Next year, it's within 2 or 3 days of where she was this year. But that, I'm telling you guys, it's a 28-day window, and you need to hunt that just as much as you're hunting you need to know your farm, right? Just as much as you need to know the habitat. So, 2 things, right, that you can change this is what I hope for everybody, to change your idea or your mindset of a rotten rut, let's just call it that, right, a rotten rut, and a horrible rut report, and jumping on the bandwagon, and stop pointing fingers next year. These are 2 things that I want you to do. Grab a chainsaw in the right area, being safe. Fix your habitat at your favorite stand, right? And figure out, the other thing is, figure out what your does are doing and what your does have to offer. You probably have the information at your fingertips this year. There's no reason, absolutely no reason, that you should be experiencing the same thing next year if you have that intel. What's that intel? That intel is when your farms are on fire the most. It's simple. It's not rocket science, right? Take the pictures. So my farm, for example, here, guys, October 11th is the day. It's 5 years in a row now. October 11th, I'm in the stand somewhere on the farm within a couple day windows each side of that. Where's the cold front? What's the wind doing? AM versus PM. Do I even think about hunting AM that time of the year? Advance it 28 days. Guess what? I'm back in the stand again on the farm. If someone's here hunting, but keep in mind, right? I've got a lease a mile down the road, and October 11th's not the day there. So what's that tell you, right? Every farm is so different. You would have to do, I don't even know what is it, 1 million rut reports to really help folks really, really get something from a solid rut report, right? So just think outside the box. It's not just as simple as putting a rut report out there and knowing and pinning that it's going to be great because it's the moon and it's all of this stuff tied into it that just makes hey, this is what I'm seeing today, and this is what you should be seeing, but you're 250 miles from here. It doesn't happen. And if it happens, there's a lot of other things that probably tie to that, right? So like I said, don't get caught into these traps. Think for yourself. Look at your farm And not, I'm not saying don't listen to the rut reports, because it's kind of, nice to know what's going on around the country. But a lot of times you'll find is that's not what's happening at your farm, right? So, kind of a educational, kind of a rant, kind of a, poking fun at some things here. But just let this one, like I always say, guys, kind of sink in, and I think it'll help a lot of folks. And we've got a couple of videos. It's raining solid here for about a week straight here in central Kentucky, which is great. And we're going to be releasing a lot of things. Have a couple of really cool updates coming that I'm going to get turned out here to you guys here within a day or two. And we're going to turn out some videos, and we're going to, get caught up on some stuff here, and bring you guys some pretty cool stuff. So hang in there. One of the videos coming right behind this probably, guys, is we're going to do a talk on the post-rut. It's not the post-rut yet. So hang in there. Really get intentional about your hunts right now, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks, guys.